Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome to today's Daf, which is SUKKAH Mem Tes. We begin on Mem Ches Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom of the Amud. It says more at the 2 dots. Ma Rabbi Shalmayin, the Mishnah described the Nisuch Hayayin and Nisuch Hamayim. So on Sukkahs they would also pour some water into this container, which was situated on the Mizbeach at the Dorim Ma'arav corner. There were 2 containers. One was meant for Yayin, one was meant for Mayim. Ma'arav Shalmaim, the one closer to Ma'arav, was meant for water. And the Mishnah tells us that they would instruct this fellow who was about to pour the water, you know what, lift your hand up, so that it's plain and evident to all that you're actually pouring that water into the container the way you're supposed to do it. Otherwise, perhaps we'll suspect that you're a tzeduki. We didn't believe in the Nisuch Hayai Hamayim because it wasn't spelled out in the pasuk. They only believed in Torah Shebachsav. In fact, says the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a Brasa, Maasa. There was a story involving a certain tzeduki, Shenisech al Gabi Raglav, who instead of pouring that water into the container, poured it all over his feet. Urugamu kala ambes ragain, and the entire crowd was in an uproar. They pelted him with their esrogim, and according to Rashi, with stones as well. And that day, you know what happened? The corner of the Mizbeach got chipped. And they quickly brought a fistful of salt, and they filled up the gap. Not because filling the gap with salt would enable the Mizbeach to be used for avodah. No, the Mizbeach is still puzzle. So why then did they do it? Just simply that the Mizbeach shouldn't appear to be chipped and missing. And this was covered for the Mizbeach just to fill it up temporarily. Let's go down to Rashi, 2 lines from the bottom. Nifkim Keren HaMizbeach, says Rashi, avonim. So Rashi adds stones to the mix. They throw some stones at him. Shazar Kubai, the Mizbeach got chipped. And they brought some salt, bulshal, melech, molei, egref, a fistful. Not to enable the Mizbeach for use, for avodah. It wasn't machshir the Mizbeach. It's not a proper repair job. Let's continue on the Gemara on Mem Tes Amud Aleph. Shekol Mizbeach. Why was the Mizbeach puzzle? Just by getting chipped? Yeah. Shekol Mizbeach she'en lo kevish. A Mizbeach which is missing one of these features, one of the following features. Lo kevish, it's missing its ramp. Lo keren, or its keren. So the top surface of this Mizbeach featured 4 kronis, which actually extended above the surface of the Mizbeach. So either one of those kronis are missing, Mizbeach is puzzle. Such as in this case when the keren was chipped. It's as though it's not there and Mizbeach is puzzle. V'lo yisoid, or it's missing the bottom step, that's called the foundation, the yisoid. V'lo ribua, or its squareness is not there. So let's say the corner was chipped. In either case, pasur la'avodah. Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, even if it's missing just the walkway, the ramp around the Mizbeach, that would also be enough reason to be paisal the Mizbeach. Why specifically these things? Let's go over to Rashi on the top line. Shekol Mizbeach, lahachi ein kasha la'avodah. You know why the Mizbeach was not pasul? Shekol Mizbeach she'en lo keren, v'kevish, v'yisoid, v'ribua. If the Mizbeach is missing any of these elements, pasul la'avodah, hachi garsina. Rashi explains, what is the keren? Amma even, amma al amma brum amma. That's the corners sticking out of the Mizbeach. L'chol keren. V'yisoid dainu amma knisa rishona. The yisoid is referring to the bottom step. So remember on the bottom we had an amma going up and amma going in. That's called the yisoid, the foundation of the Mizbeach. If it's missing that, it's possible. V'ribo, what does that mean? She'ena meruba, if it's not properly squared. M'chaser echad mikol elu pasel. V'taima, why? Amar Rav Huna b'shchitas kachim. The Gemara in Zvachim discusses it. Shekol makim shenemar hamizbeach la'akev. Whenever we have the word hamizbeach, it denotes absoluteness. Hamizbeach, dachi mashma, hamizbeach, zeu hamizbeach, ha'asukein. If it has this, it's called mizbeach. V'hanach bekulu ksiv hamizbeach. Now in all these things, kavesh, karen, etc., we have the word hamizbeach. How is that? Al kronis hamizbeach. Be'etzbach, b'miluim. U'bekevesh ksiv, elprei, hamizbeach. How do we know that's the kevesh? It says Rashi, v'kevesh, that's the ponim, that's the front, that's the face of the Mizbeach. V'kevesh hu ponav shel Mizbeach. Shu pischoi b'al yosef, that's how you access the Mizbeach. So when it says al prei hamizbeach, apparently the kevish is critical. Ubi yisoid ksiv al yisoid hamizbeach. Uribuah ksiv riboye hamizbeach. So we find the term mizbeach applied to all these elements, and therefore we know they're critical and absolute. Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, he adds the soiviv as well. Ava soiviv ma'akvai. So the soiviv was around 6 amas up alongside the mizbeach. So you had the amma going up and in, that's the yisoid. 5 up and 1 in, that's the soiviv. That's like a ramp, a walkway around the mizbeach. That's also me'akev. The kosover karkav ha-mizbeach, when the pasuk says karkav and the word ha-mizbeach to denote absoluteness, what is the karkav? So ha-soiviv, v'arinim by ha-mizbeach. So we know it's needed. The Rabbanan who disagree with Rabbi Yossi, they hold that the soiviv is not critical, because they hold that karkav is not the walkway. Svir lu ze'akir, that's some sort of engravement and designs around the mizbeach. Okay, so you have the masa with that stuki. He misapplied the water and he got pelted for it. The mizbeach got puzzled because the keren got chipped. Now we learned in the Mishnah that the wine and water would be poured through these containers, but then they would actually go into the mizbeach, and as we're going to learn now, they end up in the shisin, some sort of hollowed cavity beneath the mizbeach. Amar Rabba bar bar Chana Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Shisin, these hollow cavities beneath the mizbeach, to which the wine and water would reach and would trickle down to. They were there from 6 days of creation. They were created by Hashem. The miraculous phenomenon. They're deep down in the below the ground, very deep down. This is a pasuk in Shir Shir, and the drasha is like this. Chamuke yirei chayach. Chamuke, Rashi says, lashon of hidden, something hidden. Yirei chayach, like a thigh, a hidden thigh, which is the support of the body. So this is the shisin, those cavities beneath the mizbeach, sort of the foundation of the mizbeach. Elo shisin. It's referring to these hollowed cavities beneath the mizbeach. K'moy chaloim. Why the word chaloim? Shemechololin v'yardin ada to'im. They were hollowed out and extended all the way to the to'im, to the inner depths of the underground. Maaseh de'aman, the pasuk continues, Maaseh de'aman, zu maaseh de'umnose shakadosh baruch hu. They were the handiwork of Hashem. So these things were crafted by Hashem during the days of creation. Tana Devei Rabbi Shmuel, he also maintains that it was something miraculous. The pasuk says Bereshis. And the drush is Al Tikri Bereshis. Instead of reading just Bereshis, the drush is Ella Barashis. Hashem created this shis, these shis, and these cavities beneath the mizbeach. Tanya Rabbi Yossi says like this. He also maintains that the shisin extended all the way down to the depths of the underground. Shisin mechulolin v'yardin ad tohim. The shisin were these hollow cavities which would extend all the way down to the depth of the underground. Shenemar. We have a pasuk in Yeshaya where the Navi sort of sings a song of lamentation in the place of Hashem, sort of expressing Hashem's sentiments and feeling bad, so to speak, as a result of the Churban Beis Hamikdash. Oh, Shir Noli Didi, let me sing the song of my beloved. Let me sing on his behalf, on behalf of Hashem. Shir As Doidi, this is the Shir of my beloved. Look, Carmen, on account of his lost vineyard. Kerem Hoyil Didi. My friend had a vineyard, Big Keren, in a corner, Ben Shemen, in an area which was very fertile, in the Beis Hamikdash. Vayaskeu, and he fenced it. He built walls around it. The cities in Eretz Yisrael were walled cities, protected. Vayisakleu, and he cleared all the stones. He took away all the goyim, so that they have no influence on Klal Yisrael. Vayita'eu Sorik, and he planted this most beautiful, high-quality vine for the Beis Hamikdash. Vayiven Migdal B'Seichai, and he even built a tower in it. V'gam Yekev Chatzabai, and he formed this Yekev, this pit, this wine press in that area. What does this mean? What's the drasha? What's it referring to? Vayita'eu Sorik. He planted this high-quality vine, Ze Beis Hamikdash, which Rashi says is the Sherish and the Ikron of Yisrael. This connects us to Hashem. Vayiven Migdal. He built this tower, B'Soichai, the Mizbeach, which protects us. It's Mechaper and Averis, protects us from all Einshim. V'gam yekev chotza boy elu hashisin. He formed this yekev, this pit, this wine press, in that area underneath the Beis, underneath the mizbeach, referred to the shisin, these cavities, which would extend underneath the mizbeach, perhaps all the way down to the depths of the time. Let's go over to Rashi. So you'll notice where the lines widen, about 2-3 lines before that. Li Yadidi. So this is a shir Li Yadidi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, referring to Hashem. Bishviloi ani meshereroi. I'm singing, I'm expressing these sentiments instead of him, on behalf of him. I'm lamenting on the following. Shiraz doidi lekarmi al karmi. On account of his lost vineyard. Kerem ha'yiladidi bekerem ben Shemen. He had a vineyard in Kerem ben Shemen. What does that mean? Be'eretz Yisrael. Zavis hashmeina mikol haratzes. A very fertile, high quality corner. Higher and better than all the other lands. Vayas keu. Bonalem arim. Betzuris mukafes lasai mabriach. Ketabas dem targumin iska. Hashem had them build cities which are protected and walled. Vaisakleu. He pulled away all the stones, cleared the area. As a person who clears his vineyard from any stones. What does this mean? He cleared all the nations on account of their arrival, so that they're not present when Yisrael out there. They might have negative influence on them. Not to give fun of Mishubachis, he planted these high quality vines, not just branches. He took the actual vines, Shroshim Asram, with the roots. Zebes HaMikdash, that's referring to the Mikdash. Shu Sharsha, that's a root. V'ikron Shemachababon F'Yamakam, that connects us with an absolute connection to Hashem. Even Migdal B'Soicha, the Mizbeach. Ha'asur K'Migdal Oiz, that's built like a tower that protects us from all misfortune. V'gam Yekev Chatzav Boy, B'Oisa Migdal, in the Mizbeach, he formed this Yekev. What is Yekev? Hu Boyer Chofer, this pit. V'chein Adik V'Yamelach Beis Shicha D'Makal HaShashiach Ha'Mora B'Shamalaz. So according to these Shittas, it would seem that the Shisin are not really accessible. They extend all the way down to the depths of the time. Now the Gemara is going to present an opposing view. Tanya, Amar Abulazar Bar Tzadik. The Shisin were actually accessible, very accessible. In fact, little cotton, there was this little opening. Haya, ben kevesh lemizbech, between the ramp and the mizbech. Maravish al kevesh, on the marav side of the kevesh. Two ways to understand this Gemara. According to Rashi over here, we have the mizbech, we have the ramp. We have this side being marav. So Rashi learns that on the ramp, there was between the ramp and the mizbech, there was some little gap. And towards the left side of the ramp, the marav side, in that gap there was sort of an entranceway to get to the chambers beneath the mizbech. However, Tosfos elsewhere, and there's a Mishnah in Midas, which seems to describe this lul as being located on the floor. So you have the mizbech and the kevesh, and on the floor between mizbech and kevesh, in that area there was a little tile which they would lift up, which would reveal an entranceway, a maintenance entrance, to which they would go and try to access those cavities, those shisin. Lul katan hoye ben kevesh lemizbech. There was this entranceway, this little opening between kevesh and mizbech. Maravish al kevesh, on the marav of the kevesh. Va'achas l'shiv mishon. Now, once in every 70 years, once a generation, pirchei kehuna, the youngsters, young kehanim, yardin l'sham, they would descend, they would go down to the shisin for a maintenance visit. Humalaktin misham yain karish, and they would extract, they would collect all this congealed wine which was sitting there for 70 years, which would appear now like these round pressed figs. So this was an accumulation of all the wine poured in there throughout all these years. So apparently it's accessible. He doesn't hold that the shisin would extend all the way down to the Tohaim. It was actually pretty shallow and accessible. So to take this congealed wine, uboin v'sorf and oiseh b'kedusha, and come and burn it in a makam kaddish in the Azara, as required. Shinama, how do we know it's meant to be burnt there? Ba'kodesh hasech nesech sheichel Hashem, and we learn that just as the pouring nesech is meant to be Hashem and in a makam kaddish on the mizbeach, likewise ba'kodesh, which is referring to the burning of this wine, is meant to take place at that same location. Says Gemara, kishem shenesucha b'kedusha, just as the pouring is meant to be in a makam kaddish, kach srifasa b'kedusha, likewise the burning of this wine congealed wine, is meant to be in a Makam Kaddish. Now, where do you see any mention of burning wine as this pasuk? It says by Kodesh, Hasich, Nesach, Shechel Hashem. We only have the Nesach. What do we have anything about burning? It says, well, my mashma. Where did you see any burning in this pasuk? Amar Ravina. We learn it through Gzera Shava. Asu Kodesh, Kodesh. We derive it through Gzera Shava using the word Kodesh. Ksiv hacha ba Kodesh, Hasich, Nesach. Over here we have the word Bakoidish, Hasach Nesach, Uksiv Hasam, and by Noiser we have Vesarafta Sa Noiser Beish, Lo Achel Ki Koidishu. And over there, Koidish is in reference to burning the Noiser. You have leftover meat from a carbon, you have to burn it. So just as the Koidish over there is associated with burning, likewise the word Koidish over here is related to the burning and burning of the wine, and just as the Nesach is meant to be Makam Kaddish, the word Bakoidish, referring to the burning of that congealed wine, is meant to take place in a Makam Kaddish as well. So sure, the Masa Nisach is the Ikra Avoida, but there's still what to be done with that wine. You have to complete the mitzvah by burning it properly in a Makam Kaddish. So we have two shitas as per the location of the shisin. According to the Rabbanan, it was down in the depths of the underground, in the Tahaim, inaccessible. According to Rabbi Tzaddik, it was something actually accessible and was visited periodically by the Pirchei Kehuna for maintenance purposes. If so, says the Gemara, let's take a look at the following Mishnah. Keman Ozla, in accordance with which Shita is the following Mishnah stated? Hadasnan. Nisachem, let's say a wine, intended for Nisach Hayayin. But initially, before it was poured, by Alan Boyan, if one diverts it for personal use, he has committed Me'ilah because it's Kache Gavai, it's a carbon meant for the Mizbeach. Once they were poured, however, Yardul Shisin, they came down and they descended into those cavities, it's finished. The mitzvah is over. Ein mo ya'alon b'hen. If one partakes in this wine, he has not committed me'ilah, because they're no longer intended for the mizbeach. So that's the Mishnah. Now let's think. Whose shita are we following? The fact that the Mishnah relates to the wine after it has descended into the shisin, apparently it's accessible. Whose shita are we following? Lema Rabbi Lezer bar Tzadiki? Shall we say it's only Rabbi Lezer who maintains that the wine was still accessible because the shisin were pretty shallow? Lema Rabbi Lezer bar Tzadiki? The Rabbanan, because according to Rabbanan it doesn't make sense. Hanachti lahu l'tahim. The water has descended into the depths of the underground, totally inaccessible. Nachtu l'tahim. So why would the Mishnah even bother teaching us the halachos of that wine which is inaccessible? Says, well, no, afilu teim Rabbanan. You know what? This Mishnah can be found in the Rabbanan as well. But the Iklat was speaking that he intercepted that wine on its way down. And the Mishnah is telling us once it's been poured, there's no me'ilah. So we're not speaking that it already reached the shisin, which are certainly inaccessible. We're speaking that he caught it mid-air. He did the nisach, the pouring, which is the akrava. And once he's done that, even though the wine is still mid-air, the akrava has been done with, and therefore there's no longer me'ilah. There's another version of this discussion. We had the Mishnah which spoke about Nesach. So initially, before pouring, there is me'ilah. It's intended to be used as a carbon. But after pouring, once it reaches the shisin, there's no longer me'ilah, because the hakrava has been completed. So, whose shita are we following? Who holds that after pouring, the avoid is completed? Lema Rabbanan. Perhaps it's only Shitas Rabbanan who maintain that there's nothing to be done anymore after pouring. You just pour it and that's it. It would disappear to the depths of the ground. And therefore, even if he catches that wine mid-air, it's expired wine. There's no longer any use for it. There's no longer a mitzvah going to be done with it, and therefore there's no meal. But it can't be followed Rabbi Tzaddik. Why? The Rabbi Lazar, because according to him, why is there no me'ilah? You're going to go down eventually and take it out to burn. Akate bikdusha sayukaim. L'chayr, it still has kedusha, because there's still a mitzvah to be fulfilled with it. You have to burn it b'kodesh. So shall we say so? Shall we say that this Mishnah, which exempts the wine from me'ilah, after pouring it's exempt from me'ilah, is specifically the Rabbanon? But according to Rabbi Lezer, it would still have me'ilah because of the sreifa that still needs to be applied? Says no. Filu teim Rabbi Lezer. You know what? Even Rabbi Lezer would agree there's no longer me'ilah. Why? Because the main avodah was already performed through the nisuch. The fact that you have to burn it 70 years later, that's another additional enhancement. It's another kiyum mitzvah. But that's not considered hakrovas hakarban. And meila is related to kache gavoya, to something which is associated with the mizbeach, a carbon. It's no longer a carbon after nisuch. You never find that there'll be something after its mitzvah has been performed, after its hakrava has been completed, that meila should still apply. In this case as well. Once the nisuch took place, the hakrava has been completed, and therefore there's no meila. Amar Reish Lakish, when they would pour the wine on the mizbeach, they would first block up the drainage system for a little while so that it gets full, overflowing, in fulfillment of the pasuk. The fact that the pasuk describes it as Sheichel Hashem, this indicates that we're meant to pour the wine in this manner. My mashma, how do you see it from this pasuk? Amra Papa. Sheicher, the word sheicher has many meanings. Lashon shtia, drinking. Lashon svia, satiation, fullness. Lashon shichrus, intoxication. And Rashi adds, Lashon shichrus v'simcha and asicha. So the point of pouring it, sheicher, nesach, sheichel Hashem, is to do it in a way of fullness, satiation, simcha, shichrus. So plug up the drain up for a little while so that it fills up, looks overflowing, Lashon simcha, full, satiated, and then they would unplug the drain and let it trickle down. Amra Papa Shema Mina, we can learn from this an interesting lesson regarding becoming satiated from drinking. Kisava inish chamra. How does a person really get satiated from wine? Migroini sava, from his throat, meaning the larger the gulp, the more satisfying it is. As opposed to when it comes to food, you can eat in small increments. The result is what counts. If a person's full at the end of the day, he's full. Irrelevant of how slow he ate his food. When it comes to liquids and drinking, it's the manner of drinking which affects the person. If he drinks in large gulps, he feels more satiated. And that's what we learn from this Gemara. Svia, shichra, satiation comes from large gulps, from feeling full, as the person drinking it. Amar Rava, that's why Tzomar Rabbanan says, Rav, I'll give advice to a young Talmud Chacham to learn a fish chamra. Doesn't necessarily have access to much wine, so be economical. Economize your wine. Get maximum benefit. Ligma gemui. He should take large gulps so that he feels satiated with his small amount of wine. In fact, Rava himself, Akasa de Birchasa, when he had a Kosher Bracha opportunity, Agma gemui. He would take large gulps. Rashi says, Derech Svia Mishum Chibav Mitzvah, to show his dearness of the mitzvah. It's interesting to note that on Yom Kippur, we have a difference between the shear of Achila, which was uniform. The Gemara spoke about a large date, Kasevas Hagasa. So irrelevant who you are, this plump date, shear, is the shear of Achila Yom Kippur. Whereas when it comes to drinking, you may remember the Gemara says it's totally in Meloi Lugmav. It's personal, a cheekful. The question is why when it comes to Achila, it's uniform, equal share for all people. When it comes to drinking, it's all relative to a person's mouth size. So based on this Gemara, we have clarity, perhaps. Because when it comes to Achila, it's the result that counts, the fullness. And Chamu Mashar, they estimated that amount of food gives you at least a minimum amount of svia. But when it comes to drinking, it's all personal. Chamra, migroini sama, it's all in the drinking. It's in the manner of shtia, and therefore each person is affected differently. It all depends on his manner of drinking and his mouthful, which will make him feel satisfied and satiated, and therefore that's the share Yom Kippur. Darash Rava, my dichsiv. What does the pasuk mean? Mayofu pamayim pamayich banolim bas nediv. This is a pasuk in Shir Shir. Mayofu pamayich banolim bas nediv. What does this mean? Mayofu pamayisein shal Yisrael. How beautiful are the footsteps of Yisrael b'shah she'oil neregel, when they're on the way up to be oil regel to the Beis Hamikdash. The pasuk continues, Bas Nadiv. What does that mean? Klal Yisrael is the daughter of Nadiv. Bitoy shel Avram Avinu shenikru Nadiv. Klal Yisrael is the bas of Avram Avinu, who's described as Nadiv. Says Rashi, off to the left, Ben Olam Balias Regalim Nadiv. Why is Avram referred to as Nadiv? Shenadvoi liboy lahakiris boyri. Avram Avinu stepped forward. He offered to commit to Hashem's service. So Nadiv, Nadava, generosity, offering, initiating, volunteering. Who was the first volunteer to connect to Hashem? Avram Avinu. We are referred to as Bas Nadiv. When we come to Oile Regel, we're showing our love to Hashem, our Nadivas, our Ahava. And therefore the Pasuk, in the context of our Leila Regel, relates us back to our source, to our example, to our forefather, Avram Avinu, who was the ultimate Nadvan. What do we find that Avram Avinu is referred to as Nadiv? Shenemar. Pasuk says, Nadiv amim ne'asafu. All the converts, the Gerim of the nations will gather together. Am Elokei Avram. They will be now considered the nation of the God of Avram. Now, why are the Gerim relating to Hashem as Elokei Abraham? Why Elokei Abraham, V'loi, for instance, Elokei Yitzchak, or V'Yakov? Ella, there's a reason for this. Because they identify with Hashem as the Elokei Abraham. Elokei Abraham shayatchil al-Gerim, because Avram Avinu was the first Ger. It was his Nedavas Halev which brought him to become a Ger, and all the Gerim in the world identify with Avram Avinu. Now, simply speaking, because Avram Avinu was their motivator. He was the first, the Ger. He led the way. But the Ramesh Chaim Lotzato, the Ramchal, in Sefer Derech Hashem, explains a much deeper dimension to this Gemara. He says that, how does a Ger connect to Klal Yisrael? Once Klal Yisrael is formed as a nation, as a unit, how can we accept additions? So he says, when Avram Avinu became a Ger, Avram Avinu really enabled the concept of Gerus for all people. So when a Ger now volunteers and comes forward to join Klal Yisrael, it's by way of connecting to Avram Avinu. That's the channel. That's the way he connects to Klal Yisrael, by way of Avram Avinu, who was the first Ger. In fact, that's why we refer to a Ger as Ben Avram, whatever his name is, Moshe Ben Avram, Avram Ben Avram, because Avram Avinu is his root, is his connection. He connects through Avram Avinu to Klal Yisrael. So spiritually speaking, Avram Avinu is his father. He's a Yid because he's considered an extension of Avram Avinu, the Tchila Leger. Tana de Bei Rav Anon. What does the pasuk mean? And he learns that it's speaking about Torah. Why is a Torah referred to as Chamukei Yerei a thigh? Lama nimshelu divrei Torah ki yorech. Why is Torah compared to a thigh? Loimach to teach you. Ma yorech b'seisa, just as a thigh is concealed and hidden. Af divrei Torah b'seisa, likewise. Torah is meant to be learned with modesty, with tznius, b'seiser. V'hainu de'amar b'lazer, as Rabbi Yehuda tells us, that regarding all mitzvahs, we want to be careful to perform them with modesty, with tznius. My dichsiv. What does the pasuk mean? Higid l'cha adam atoiv. Hashem tells a person, what is good? Uma Hashem darish mimcha. What does Hashem expect of you? It's the following: Ki'im asayis mishpat, to do justice. V'havas chesed, to have love of chesed. V'atznei leches im alekecha, and to walk modestly with Hashem. What does this mean? Asayis mishpat, that's referring to din, ze'adin, to do justice. Even when you do a favor, it has to be done the right way. V'havas chesed, to be engaged in the chesed. V'atznei leches im alekecha, what is that referring to? Zuhoitzas hameis, when one is engaged in taking out a mace for burial. V'achnosas kala l'chuppah, or conversely, participating in bringing a kala to chuppah. Even though these things are, by nature, public events, still in all, a person should be careful to minimize exposure. Do things modestly, but tznius. We can learn from there through kal v'chomer that this concept of tznius is something to be applied to all mitzvahs, including Torah. Why? Uma dvarim shedarkan la'asosin mefarhesya. If we find that by these things, a levaya, a wedding, which are things that are typically public events, still, what does the Torah say? Amra Torah, hatznei aleches. Take care to do it modestly. Don't publicize. Dvarim shedarkan l'asaysim b'tzina, things which are meant to be done privately, like it's SUKKAH, like learning. Al chacham v'kama, certainly tznius is preferred. And therefore we learn from here that regarding all mitzvahs, tznius is definitely a preferred way to do it. Let's go over to Rashi, off to the left. Now, how do we know that Hatznei Leches is referring specifically to being kover a mace or participating in a wedding? Says Rashi, interesting pshat. Dichsibu leches, because the word leches, going, is used to describe both of these events, as we find in Kehelis. Toiv lo leches el beis avel, mi leches el beis mishta. So when the pasuk says Hatznei Leches, it's a reference to a wedding, to a levaya. Av sham tzarech hatzneia, says Rashi. Tznius is important, even over there. What does this mean? Lis'oid b'midanoah, lis'mayach b'midanoah. We're at a wedding. Stay dignified. V'lo lahanig kalas reish ba'atzmei. Another pshat, says Rashi. The person's financing these events. A funeral, a wedding. He's involved in behind-the-scenes arrangement. Do it quietly with modesty. If he has to finance the funeral of a poor mace, or to enable a wedding, do it quietly, with modesty, with sinna. Don't go publicize your good deeds. So since, when it comes to things which are by nature public events, we still are warned against publicizing it unnecessarily. Certainly things which are dark on asaysim b'tzina. If you're going to SUKKAH, honey tennis lani b'seisa, she'en tzarech lo'ydia l'shemadim, don't go publicize it. Ma'she'enken b'meisa v'kala. V'sha'acherim mis'askim ben, v'yoydim ha'yitziyah mishal mi. So Rashi is just pointing the difference between kala and mace, where inevitably other people are going to be involved, and it gets out somehow. So that's something which is by nature a public thing. So the two pshat on Rashi. The first pshat was that he's participating physically. He's going to the wedding. He's dancing by the wedding. He's going to the funeral. He's dancing by the wedding. Still do it in a dignified manner, but tznius. But in the second pshat, that he's actually contributing financially. Why is it considered a davar b'farhesis? Rashi says because it's not a private event. Others are involved, and inevitably it's going to get out. So even these things, which are by nature more public, still keep modest, keep tznius. And certainly, when it comes to things which are by nature to be kept under wraps, like SUKKAH, of course, tznius is required. Everything in the world, everything in Torah and mitzvahs should be done between you and Hashem as a private event, no need to publicize, no need to advertise. In fact, I once heard a pshat, Vatznei Leches, when we see a person conducts himself with tznius in all that he does, in his Torah, in his tefillah, in his chesed, that's a raya, that's a proof that he's with Hashem. He's satisfied with his personal relationship with Hashem. He doesn't need public approval. He doesn't need the mishiberach and the shul. He's good with Hashem. In fact, I saw another pshat, a similar pshat, when it comes to tamim tiyah. Pasuk also says tamim tiyah im Hashem alekecha. And Rashi says there that tamim means that he conducts himself with confidence, with security. He knows that he's in Hashem's hands. He's not apprehensive about the future. He's totally secure and confident that Hashem will lead him in the right direction. So a person who lives a life of tamim tiyah, what does the pasuk say? Im Hashem alekecha. That's the biggest indicator that he's living with Hashem. It's him and Hashem. Hashem is running his life, and therefore he's secure, he's serene, and no worries about the future. Continues the Gemara. Amar Belazar, Gadol ha'oset SUKKAH yoser mikol karbonis. A person who engages in SUKKAH, his merit is greater than all the karbonis. Shenemar asoit SUKKAH mishpat nifchar, it's favorite to Hashem. Nifchar Hashem mizevach, greater than all the karbonis. Why is that? Says the Chidah, because SUKKAH can atone even for a mazit, a willful avera. SUKKAH tatzul umavis, as opposed to karbonis, for the most part, only going to address a shaygig. So SUKKAH stands higher than karbonis. Inasmuch as we speak about the greatness of tzedakah, there's something even greater than that. Gedola gemilas chasadim, engaging in chesed, is yoser ben tzedakah. So helping somebody with his packages, lending him something when he's in time of need, is even greater than tzedakah. Shenemar ziru lachem tzedakah. The pasuk describes tzedakah as planting, as seeding. V'kitru lefi chesed, and chesed is described as reaping, as harvesting. And harvesting is more enjoyable and beneficial than just seeding. Why? Im adam zareh, when a person actually plants his crops, it's an uncertain future. Does he know whether his crops will be successful? Safek eichel, he might actually reap the crop. Safek ein eichel, he might not get to consume it. It might be a failed crop. As opposed to adam koitzer, is actually reaping and harvesting his crop. Vadi eichel, certainly he'll have benefit from it. So when you give tzedakah, well, you don't know, is this person really worthy of the tzedakah? It's a toss-up. When it comes to chesed, you know this person is in need, you're helping him out. It's a vada. In fact, even when it comes to tzedakah, says the Gemara, the ikar schar of tzedakah is in accordance with the chesed element, with the heart involved in the tzedakah. V'amar blazer, ein tzedakah mishtalemes, ela lefi chesed sheba. The schar received on account of tzedakah is based on the chesed factor involved in the tzedakah. As Rashi explains, how much sensitivity was involved, how much effort, what about the timing? Rashi says you'll give it to him when the commodities are cheap, when he can actually invest it, when he can use it for good purpose. So the effort, the heart, the sensitivity, that's the chesed element within the tzedakah, and the tzedakah is judged by the chesed element. Shenemar zir lechem tzedakah. When you plant tzedakah, v'kitru, but the schar that you receive is lefi chesed, in accordance with the chesed element within the tzedakah. Tana Rabbanim b'shloisha dvarim. With the following three things, we find that Gdoila Gemilas Chasadim Yosim not tzedakah. Chesed has three advantages over tzedakah. How is that? Tzedakah is only b'mamayna. Such a check. Gemilas Chasadim bein begufa b'mamayna. You can perform chesed by way of money, alone, begufa, physically, dancing at the wedding. So it's more encompassing, more involving than just writing a check. Tzedakah, laniyim, that can only be performed with poor people who are in need of money. Gemilas Chasadim, on the other hand, is for everybody. Bein laniyim, or bein lashir. A wealthy person could sometimes need a good word, pat in the back, kiruv. So chesed is much more broad. Tzedakah is only l'chaim. You can only do tzedakah with a living person. On the other hand, Gemilas Chasadim involves anybody. Bein l'chaim, bein l'meisim. Join a funeral, do a hesped. The person who's involved in tzedakah mishpat, the fact that he's doing tzedakah, that generates a corresponding response from Hashem, and it fills the entire world with midas ha-chesed. Hashem conducts the world with chesed. Shenemar oyev tzedakah mishpat. What happens then? Chesed Hashem mal'ah ha'aretz. The world is filled with chesed. Shema Tomer, perhaps you'll say, well, anybody could tap into it. Anybody could just jump into the opportunity and do chesed properly? No, says the Gemara. It's an opportunity given to people who are deserving of this opportunity. How precious. So, a person has to have a schus to be zeicha, to do chesed properly, to do mitzvah properly, to do tzedakah properly. Rashi says that a person has to be zeicha that his money should end up with the ani that's really deserving of that money. It says the Gemara, Yochel af Yirei Shemayim came. Perhaps Yirei Shemayim also has this impediment, this difficulty of finding the right opportunity to do chesed. Tamalayim, no. V'chesed Hashem me'olam ad olam al Yirev. Hashem grants His Yirev, those who fear Him, the opportunity to do chesed. Amar Rav Chamar Papa Kol Adam sheyesh lechein. If you see that a person is full of grace and he's well liked, B'yadua she'yirei Shemayim. Apparently he's Yirei Shemayim, and on account of his Yirei Shemayim, it sort of shines out. It is zeicha that he finds favor in the eyes of people. Shenemar chesed Hashem, this chesed, this grace, me'il madayim al yireyav, descends on the ones who fear Him. V'amar B'lazer, my dichsiv. How do you understand the pasuk? This is the pasuk in the Eshes Chayil. Pi apascha b'chachma v'soras chesed al hashayna. Now, why is it called Teiras Chesed? Torah is Torah. What do you mean Teiras Chesed? A certain brand of Torah called Teiras Chesed? Yeah, there are two types of Torah. V'cheyesh Torah shel Chesed, v'yesh Torah she'ena shel Chesed. Is that so? That there is Torah called Teiras Chesed and Torah which is not Chesed? Yes, there is. Ela Torah Lishma. When a person learns Torah Lishma to connect himself to Hashem, to elevate the entire world, that Torah, Zuhi Torah shel Chesed, contains Chesed within it because it's not only personal. He's not only after his personal interest and benefit. He's there to impact and influence the entire world. That's Torah's Chesed. Whereas Torah shel Lishma, just to derive personal gain, without having anybody else in mind, Zuhi Torah she'ena shel Chesed. Sure, it's Torah, but it's lacking in that Chesed element. Another pshat, Ikad Amri, some explained, Torah lelamda. He's engaged in learning Torah with the mindset to teach it to others as well. And he's sacrificing to give it over to others. Then he has both elements wrapped in one. Zui Torah shel Chesed. That's Torah's Chesed. Shloi lelamda. But if he's just learning for his own sake, it's a personal engagement, a personal endeavor. Zui Torah she'ena shel Chesed. Sure, it's Torah, but it's lacking. It's no longer Torah shel Chesed. You know, Yasha, that's how one said, other people can do chesed. They have, it's part of their life. I don't do chesed. I sit and learn all day. Where's my chesed? He said, "This is my chesed." He said, "I don't have extra time. I don't have extra money. How do I do chesed? I learn and I learn. And when people have shilas and they send questions to me, I give them clarity. Isn't that chesed? It's also Torah's chesed." So this fits very well with our Gemara. Torah lishma, Torah l'lamda. That indeed is called Torah's chesed al l'shem. Okay, let's do a brief chazar of today's daf. We began with the tzduki, who before pouring that water onto his feet, and he got pelted with esrogim and with stones, the Mizbeach got puzzled. We learned about the shisin, two opinions. One is that they extend all the way down to the Tehom created by Hashem during Sheshis Me'Bereshis, Bereshis, Barashis. Rabbi Yehuda Kessler maintained it was actually closer up to the surface and would merit a maintenance visit once in every 70 years. We learned that in the Nesachim have Me'ilah prior to being poured because it's still intended for Akrava, but after Nisach, there's no longer Me'ilah, and according to the Maskana of the Gemara, it turns out that even if they were caught mid-air, there's no longer Me'ilah, and even according to Elizabeth Tzaddik perhaps, that they need to be burnt, once in 70 years they have to take them out and get burnt, but it's not part of the Akrava, and there's no Me'ilah. Klal Yisrael are referred to as Bas Nadif, the daughter of Avraham Avinu, as Rashi says, Shenad v'libo l'hakes bar, who stepped forward, who came forward to recognize Hashem. We learned about the Gerim who relate very closely with Avraham Avinu. We learned about mitzvah snius, the concept of doing things modestly, whether Torah, tzedakah, or even things which are by nature public events. Tzedakah is greater than all karbanos. The ikar schar of tzedakah is in accordance with the chesed factor, the heart factor, included in the tzedakah, timing, sensitivity, etc. There are three advantages that chesed has over a tzedakah, and we learned that even Torah is meant to have a chesed element within it. Torah is chesed, Torah lishma, according to the second shot, Torah lam de lachir. Kol tov to you and much hatzlacha.